good?
Yes, thank you. Guys, hey.
Hi guys, we'll start with the broadcast section.
Yeah, I think I'm okay, yeah. It's fancy chair.
Broadcast section with no embargo, followed by an embargo section for 10:30pm tonight. No live tweeting during the broadcast section, please, and use the microphone provided. Michael.
Thanks, Ant. Hi, Thomas. Obviously, the international break. How is everyone? Any injuries on the return? How's the squad looking?
Everyone is fine. Everyone returned from international duties well, so that's always positive. Very happy about that. Everyone seems to be in a good place. Dom will not be available still. Don't expect it to be too long, but he'll not be available for this game.
Can I just get your reaction to Daniel no longer being the chairman, and what will his legacy be?
Yeah, of course. Daniel deserves massive praise. He's been here 24 years. It must be one of the longest chairmen who's been in the Premier League ever. The things he's built, the success he's been a massive part of is, you can't praise that enough. And I think the two big things, he's actually laid, I would say, the foundation for the future. In terms of this fantastic world-class training center, and of course a world-class stadium. So both those two, we are at a top level, so we can build from there to hopefully compete with the best clubs in the future. So that is Daniel. So yeah.
He's a big presence in football. Obviously, the news came out of the blue to so many. Did you get a chance to say goodbye?
Yes, I've spoken to him. And I've only, of course, known Daniel, but not known Daniel, if that makes sense, and known of him, I would say. So the last 3 months is where, of course, been more time with him. So it's been brief. I've said thank you. I know it's not only him appointing me, but he had probably the decisive words. So I can only appreciate that in every aspect, and I'll always be appreciating of that. I'm very pleased with that. Yeah, and I wish him all the best, so going forward.
Yeah, as you say, he played a big part in your appointment. Obviously, denial of a takeover, there's obviously investment talk over the last few weeks. Does that sort of talk, obviously that's upstairs, does it ever filter down to yourself or the players? Does it unsettle you at all? Because it's obviously such big news for the club.
Yeah, I say we, as Vinai have been saying and been quoted for, this is moving forward. It's not a new ownership, it's the same ownership, it's just the majority of the shareholders who have more influence. They're very committed to the club. They want to build something good for the future. And I would say, for me, I think the main thing I can do to do my job well is to focus on now. And tomorrow against West Ham, huge London derby. And that's my main thing. I'm probably also a bit of a person where I just focus with what is in front of me. Thank you.
Afternoon, Thomas.
Afternoon.
You just mentioned the London derby against West Ham tomorrow. How excited are you to experience that London derby for the first time as Spurs manager?
Very excited. I know it means a lot for the fans. So we'll go there with everything and do everything we can to, of course, try to win the game. I think we're facing a West Ham team, which I think maybe didn't have the best start. I think they got a very good win against Nottingham, and I think they did well. I think they got some top players. I've known Graham Potter for years, and I've followed his fantastic work from all the way from Sweden to Swansea to Brighton to Chelsea to now here. So big respect for him and his staff. So I know it will be difficult, and I know this game tomorrow will be extremely difficult, because no matter if West Ham were top of the league or bottom of the league, in the middle of the league, this game will just, boom, make them raise their level. So I expect an extremely difficult game, but we'll be ready for it, and we're ready to attack.
Mohamed Kudus will return to the London Stadium for the first time, of course, since making that move from West Ham to Spurs. I asked him before the international break about this game, and he said, look, it's just another game for me. Knowing him now, obviously him having been at Spurs. How do you think he'll handle that potentially hostile reception and atmosphere tomorrow?
You don't think they will applaud him? No. Maybe not. Of course, you can always let me put it this way. I'm pretty sure players, and myself included, sometimes you feel extra tension or extra noise. But then at a certain stage, you get into your zone, and then you don't really hear it. I'm pretty sure the same for Kudus tomorrow. I'm pretty sure the same for all players that are playing in hostile environments. The thing he should do is focus on his game. That's what he can control.
And finally from me, Xavi Simons and Randall, are they in line to make their Spurs debuts tomorrow?
Yeah, both of them are looking good. Both of them are definitely in contention to be ready for the squad. Xavi, for natural reasons, are further down the line. He just started the first game for Holland and played, I can't remember, a few games for Leipzig, definitely. In terms of Randall, it's been a while since he's played. Last time was in Club World Cup. Hasn't trained really with PSG. So he is not as fit as Xavi. But he looks good.
Thomas, hello. So if we just go back to Daniel again, I just wondered, it seemed to catch everyone he was so surprised at the news that he's gone. Because you had such a strong transfer window, were you surprised yourself? And what does this mean for you and the club going forward in regards to transfers and how it's all going to be done?
I would say, it was nothing that I expected. I don't think any of us expected it. A decision is made. We move forward. I think transfers going forward, of course, need to be, how can you say, not reconstructed, because that's not the right way. It was very clear how the roles were, let's say, for this window. There's something Daniel is involved in, something he's not involved in or was involved in, so that just needs to be changed a little bit. I don't see it as a big thing, definitely not impacting me too much, that we find out what kind of players we like to get, and then someone needs to find out to negotiate that.
Does that mean you sound like you maybe want a bigger say possibly in some of the new targets you'd like to bring in? Is that fair?
No, I don't think that's fair. I think that is quite unfair. I think it's this window I only experienced a good collaboration between me, Daniel, Vinai and Johan, where we were agreeing on what kind of targets we went for. So I expect the same going forward. And
just one other thing that happened in the international break was you left Tel out the Champions League squad, and he's spoken about it and he said you called him, but I was just wondering, if you could explain why you've done it and what you said to him.
Yeah, I think first of all that was an extremely difficult decision to make. I also think in many ways it was a little bit unfair. I also think that the UEFA Champions League list are not big enough. We know the load on the players is getting bigger and bigger. We, as I said it many times, we were hopefully playing 60 plus games. That's without international games. So some of them can be involved in up to 70 games. So I think that we need probably a bigger squad. I can't understand why we need to limit ourselves. I actually like the idea of the club-trained players. I think it's a good thing to, every team need to develop their own players. So I think that's good. Of course, that limit us a little bit as a stance. Hopefully, we get after that. But because we had a less number, I had to make a decision now instead of making a decision before a team selection. Before I name 20 players tomorrow. And is it 23? I don't know for Champions League, is you can name even more. So anyway, but the squad you're naming before every game, it's performance, all that. Now I need to name it before I really know Matty, and I think he's done well. I just had to take a tough decision. I think he's been extremely mature. He's 20 years old. The way he handled it, the way he trains, everything about him, extremely impressive.
Thank you.
Hey there, Thomas. With Xavi and Randall Kolo Muani, obviously very versatile players, have you kind of got in your mind yet where you see them performing on the pitch for you more often than not?
I have some ideas. I think it's still a team I'm learning. I get to know better and better. Of course, I have clear ideas, but it's something is to look from the outside. Another thing is to, as I say, feel them. You're around them. You speak to them. You watch them live, training games. You watch the game back with like very specific view. And then I have some ideas how I want to do it, and then you get surprised. Okay, that could look good. Another time I need to change a bit. So I learn about the team and the players. Xavi I see him mainly as a 10, or a left side player or left winger. Where Kolo I see he can play striker and he can play both wings. I would say.
And Dominic Solanke, obviously, this ankle problem has been something that's been going on since the summer, really. Can I just ask exactly kind of how's it being, kind of how are you dealing with it right now? And also, is there any potential of surgery if this doesn't work, what you're doing with him right now?
I think right now we are doing everything we can. The medical team is doing everything we can to get on top of it. And that's what we are focusing on. Basically, I get a feeling it's not too far away. It's just falling short for this game.
And just want to ask you, I think you mentioned before you were going to name your leadership group after the transfer window. Have you decided on them?
It's on a big note on my paper. I need to do that. So the answer is no.
Okay, thank you.
It's very honest.
Should George go back, please?
Hi, Thomas. This is the first time I've spoke to you since the transfer window actually shut. Obviously signed Xavi before that game against Bournemouth, but Kolo Muani come in. I mean, as a whole, how do you kind of look at the transfer window now? Kind of, 4 real quality players that have come in and feel like they're going to impact the first team. But would you have liked more?
I would say I'm really happy with the squad. I think that the club have done a very good job, and the club is especially Daniel and Johan, and of course also Vinai. But Daniel and Johan are the 2 main guys has been the drivers of it. So I think it's actually it's very impressive what they've been doing and how committed they've been to try to improve the squad. I think it's two big signings, of course, Kudus and Xavi Simons, by 2 top players. I'm convinced will help us massively. And then we have 2 very good loan deals on 2 other good top players. So yeah, I'm pleased with the squad.
And the whole world found out about Daniel Levy leaving on that Thursday around 6 p.m. When did you kind of get told that news? I'm guessing you didn't see the notification on Twitter, and that was how you found out. No,
I was of course involved, but not early, which I don't think is the right thing to do. I think it's something between the shareholders and the CEOs, and then they inform us who's taking care of the football side of things at the right time, which they did.
And you kind of spoken about Vinai and what changes are going to happen. Vinai sort of spoke about he's really business as usual. He is still sort of doing things on a day-to-day. Would he be the one that you mainly was dealing with anyway, rather than speaking with Daniel on a day-to-day?
Yeah, I would say the whole idea of getting Vinai in was to have a day-to-day person to speak to. But I think I speak a lot with Vinai, but he's like the CEO. Then there is Johan, who is the technical director. So with all due respect, I think I speak more football with him, which is the way it should be. And then, of course, because Daniel has been so integral and so big part of Tottenham, of course, it was natural that I also had conversation with him.
Okay, we'll end the broadcast section there. You're on to the embargo section for 10:30 p.m. tonight. Tom?